So, Pete, we're at your Catch Me If You Can kennels here. This is the main kennel block here behind us. Tell us a little bit about yourself. Obviously, you've got control of the National Draft Dogs during their important education process. How did you get into the game? What makes you love the sport of grain racing?
It's like a long story for everyone, I suppose. I grew up in a family of a father that used to bet a fair bit on the races, and he loved the horses. Had an uncle that was in the Greyhounds, and plenty of other uncles that have harness horses. So it was probably something that I was always going to do. But Mum remarried when I was a young teenager, and my stepfather had sheepdogs and hunting dogs, George. And I suppose as a bonding exercise between himself and me, he gave me a young pup, and I had to teach it how to retrieve the ducks at the time. And then the next one was a sheepdog, George, that we ended up selling at the Caston and Sales. So it evolved for me, I suppose, getting my pocket money from teaching dogs what to do. And then I suppose about 8 years ago, I had a few spare dollars, George, and wanted to get involved, and bought a dog and got the trainer to get it ready for me and prepare him. And unfortunately, he didn't make the track, as a lot of them don't do the first time, but that didn't sway me. I wanted to experience what everyone else was experiencing, and slowly got my next dog. And when the live baiting sort of took hold about 4 years ago, George, I decided that some of those techniques that I'd picked up from a young age in terms of education for dogs, I could probably use to instrument in the greyhound industry for the education of dogs. I thought that the education with greyhounds was probably lacking 20 or 30 years behind where it should have been. The standard of care for our greyhounds was there. Our racing facilities were there. We had plenty of good quality owners, but just the education side I thought could have been lifted up a little bit and made a little bit better. So that's probably where I found my little niche in the education, George.
Beautiful. And now you're fully entrenched. You've had some dogs yourself that you've owned that have gone quite well and breeding a few litters, so the bug's got you now.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to be too soon before I get out, George, but that's great. I mean, I love it. The people in the industry are really well. I love them all. They are a very addictive sort of bunch of people, you know yourself. It's just the dogs themselves, you can't beat a greyhound, George, you know. It's so much love from the animal, and just to come out each day and put a smile on my face to see him jumping down out of his kennel after he's had a hard trial or he's done the wrong thing, just to say, come on boy, we've got to fix this up, we've got to do that. It's just, you can't beat it, mate. I'm living a dream.